one West. Them gal favorite. You know the thing come down already. From the UPK. You know the thing come down already. From the UPK in I building, just hide the girl them and hide the liquor. She no want me no friend of mine. She wants skin out on the better mind. She have good brain plus a better mind. We say we for body that she say yes a man. She come raise the Beretta 9. Me make she come we ahead that time. She get good brain plus a better night. We say we for body that never mind we not fit cap. But blood clot killers go ask me cap. Thing na ya tap me pass me counselor. General ya and I'm it and you don't figure. This them man they get spread out for that. Hey boy cross the line no all idiot. Make some bumbo clap or shot let off in ya. The truth never change no care much time elapse. The work up routine make that we not relax. Me general set the thing and it a grow. Some fool never loyal. Them never true to the thing and it a show. Me know a couple thing for show. I pack a girl but never touch her out. Which church boy can make you touch a dog? She want gunman down in a she hey. She no want me no friend of mine. She want skin out on the better mind. She have good brain plus a better mind. Me say who for body that she say yes a mine. She want real killer, the one West nigga. Violate the Akia man and squeeze sugar. She don't want no house nigga. She want a feel nigga. She want a stay bigger. Real killer. Boy watch your mouth when they talk. And mind the teen. Angela boarding craft. Them fool, they no firm, them soft. One West never bow to no holding calf. Chain from me neck does a spark when me pass. Them think is a rolling calf. Boy run up, man, falling flat. Jump, get up, run like holding fast, pass over. Me nah jump, but still me nah sober. They run back a punch and sting just like cobra. At 3,000 years we cross over. Most type of a bumbo clad phobia. We take a coat too late to start over. I'm a damn Batman UPK soldier. We take a coat too late to start over. I'm a damn Shabbat Barak. She no want me no friend of mine. She wants skin out on the better mind. She have good brain plus a better mind. We say we for body that she say yes a mine. She come raise the Beretta 9. Me make she come way ahead that time. She get good taste, better night. We say we for body that never mind.
Alright, Shalom Israel. Welcome again to another ISUPK Wednesday night law class. My name is Priest and Officer 500 Kayadwan from ISUPK Jamaica under Command General YAHANNA. I say Yahweh Basham Yahushai Brakatham to my brothers, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Basham Yahushai to my sisters. Alright, for those who might not know about the ISUPK, we are the original Hebrew Israelites. I know you have heard about the Hebrew Israelites, but it all started with the ISUPK. See, 1969, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. See, that's where the truth came out that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the real Jews. You know what I mean? As opposed to what was being taught before that, you know what I mean, black people can be Jews by joining the white man's synagogue, you know what I mean, joining Judaism, you know what I mean, upon research done by the founding, you know what I mean, generals of the ISUPK, you know what I mean, it was found out that, in fact, the Jewish man was not a Jew. See, he's not an Israelite. And the real Israelites are the people in captivity under this oppressor. You know what I mean? Oppressor including the Jewish man, because the Jewish man is nothing more than, you know what I mean, another white man. You know what I mean? Another tribe of Edomites or white people. So that is where that truth started, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the real Jews. All right? So it started with the ISUPK. The ISUPK is the home of the truth. There is no other home of the truth. See? There's no truth in the Christian church. There is no truth in these fake Hebrew Israelite groups. You know what I mean? There's no truth in your Rastafari community or any Rastafari organization or any corner that you sit down reasoning with some Rastafarian nut who is going to tell you that, you know what I mean, the smoking of weed is the healing of the nation, and that is what the Bible was talking about, and that is incorrect. You understand? The truth is not in any Muslim mosque, you know what I mean, that religion, that it is okay for you to marry an 8-year-old. Our people must do better now. See, enough information is out. We have enough information to make wise decisions. You understand? So these religions have proven themselves, you know what I mean, unqualified to lead God's people. So now is the time for us to come back to our true heritage as God's chosen people, as the children of Israel. We have never tried this out. You understand? We have tried Christianity. They taught us nothing that is in the Bible. We have tried Rastafarianism. We have tried the Muslim mosque. You know what I mean? We have even tried not believing in God, and you see how that work out. You know what I mean? So the problem is not with God. The problem is who you are learning from. You understand? And as I said before, the ISUPK is a place that if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, this is the place that you need to learn from. All right? All right, so what we are going to do now, we're going to talk about some hot topics. You know what I mean? Of course, we use these current and hot topics to help, you know what I mean, break down the scriptures and how it relates to our people. You understand? And use them as examples of what to do and what not to do. It is very important that we use these topics, because anything affecting our people, you know what I mean, or anything in the media that involves our people affects our people. See? So you need priests and prophets like the men in the ISUPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA to give you a breakdown now of, all right, how does this affect us, and is it right, is it wrong, what direction you need to take? Unlike your Christian pastor just come give you a nice ceremony so you can get your money. When, you know what I mean, our people face real hard reality out in the world. Things, you know what I mean, in the world affects our people in a real way. You know what I mean? So this is the purpose of the priests and prophets and the Most High, to correct God's people and to tell them, you know what I mean, this is the path that you are on, it is the wrong path, this is what the Most High wants you to do. You understand? And when the Christian church is the opposite. All right, so one of these topics, we're going to jump on, we're going to touch on the Jah9 topic first. You understand? So Jah9 did an interview, we're going to play it, where she's basically defending the use of smoking weed. But there's something in particular that more focus on, see? And we're going to break it down with not only just Jah9, with other entertainers. You understand? With other entertainers, them things are right before our eyes, you know. But because of how we have been misled over here in our captivity, we ignore it. We see it every day in the faces of our people because of a certain habit that them have, but we ignore it. We ignore it until it reaches a point where this person is, you know what I mean, is no longer, what do you call it now? It has gone so bad that this person is no longer accessible, lack of a better way of putting it. Till you blatantly see that this person have a problem. But there was always signs. there was always signs that they were going down this road because of a particular habit that we have over here. See? So without further ado, we're going to play this tape. Let me put it up on the screen. You know what I mean? Over on YouTube. See? All right. Well, let me check something. Before we do that, let me just check something. In the meanwhile, everybody just tap up the screen as in a jump in. See? We have an interesting show tonight. I guess I should tell you now the topic. All right. All right. So this live. Give me a second. Give me a second then. I want to check to see if it has streamed on all the platforms then. All right. It has streamed on the page over there. So give me a second. See, tend to have poor internet at times, so bear with me as well with that. You know what I mean? And if you have questions, just feel free to throw it at the chat. You know the thing already. You know what I mean? This is an interactive class. You know what I mean? Of course, none of you are in the class, you're just watching online. See? Which we encourage all of you to get officially in these classes. It's free. You know what I mean? You don't have to pay any money. You know what I mean? Let me see if we have stream over up on the page. It looks so. Yeah, we have to go fix this. We have to go fix this. We have to go find out what the problem with this. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, it has streamed on the page. All right, it has streamed on the page. So give me a second. Let me see if it has streamed on the Facebook account. Just give me a second. We are touching that topic. Remember to stop up the screen. Though, you know what I mean? Stop wait to see what I want. Just stop up the screen. You know what I mean? Share around, help this reach. You know what I mean? A wide variety of Black people here in Jamaica who are from the 12 tribes of Israel. Give me a second. I'll check to see if everything can pass it before we jump into it. All right, we are streamed everywhere. Yeah, man, everything to work. Yeah, man. All right, most day on Christ. All right, so we're going to play this tape with Jah9. And she saw is a very intelligent girl, you know, woman, a very beautiful sister as well. You know what I mean? But our beauty is being covered up because of a certain lifestyle that she promotes. See? We're going to play the tape and then we're going to jump into it.
The tension that is created inside these animals when they're about to slaughter, you internalize it when you eat it. So you have to think about the herbs in the same surrounding the way it was planted. Right? Because all of the energy surrounding the way it was planted and so on. All of this.
Shalom Israel. Watch this.
Right? You have to be careful what you're putting into your brain. Right? Because all of the energy surrounding the way it was planted and so on. All of this goes in when you eat animals. All of the tension that is created inside these animals when they are about to be slaughtered, you internalize it when you eat it. So you have to think about the herbs in the same way. If you can't get the ganja, you have to go learn to meditate without it. And you have to go find some other herbs too, because we're not just promoting getting high, we're promoting wellness. And herb ganja is a thing that is good for your brain. Your brain has cannabinoid receptors. That means you are designed to use this thing to heal yourself. So, and you can get, you can get this from other things too, but if you can't get the ganja, you have to go try grow it. You have to go try secretly grow even a little one plant. I promote that. I promote growing it yourself. And if you can't, then you have to go do your investigation, do your research, and find out if it is really that important to you. Because putting some bushweed or some brickweed or some weed where somebody stick up in them woy if you can't come up for it, this don't do nothing for you. This can't hype your meditation. You know what I mean? So you have to look at, why am I using this herb? Am I a junkie? Am I addicted to this thing? Because we're not promoting addiction either. So unless I can get the best quality of food and anything to put into my body, it is not going into my body. So that is my personal stance. But, you know, I understand that living in this kind of society, it's hard for a man to have something to escape. You know what I mean? So that is a dilemma, a question I cannot answer. But I just would say, as much as you can, try to get the best quality food in general.
You know what I mean? So basically that is Jah9's opinion.
All right. Pause it. All right. So Jah9 so elegantly, I tell you, first you start off by saying you have to be careful what you put in your brain, right? Which is very, you know what I mean, that's the truth. No, you don't really want to put anything into your brain, you know. You know what I mean? Why would you want to put something in your brain? Is the question I'm gonna ask, right? Putting something in your brain is to put something into the organ responsible for all of your bodily functions. Why would you want to affect that organ? Especially you have no access to that organ. You understand that it's a very delicate organ. It's very sensitive, you know what I mean? And it is a very crucial, the most important organ in the body. So she started off by saying you have to be careful where you put it in your brain, so you have to make sure you put good weed in your brain. But why would you want to put weed in your brain? Why would you want to? All right, more time. The justification to, you know what I mean, our people that smoking weed does not make any sense. I don't think we have to explain it. You understand? I don't have to explain it. It's just your addiction to weed make you defend the argument there. But a man that is really honest or a woman that is really honest, Zane, who smokes weed, will tell you, say, yeah, weed not good for you for real, but we just can't stop. That would be the honesty. Zane, that would be honesty. Yeah, me know say smoking not good for me, but why me a long time me I smoke. You get me I say? That is a but to defend the use of weed is a demon, you know. Is a demon. You understand? To defend, say, yo, weed is good for you. It's a demon. It's a demon. It is nothing else but a demon. See? So she started off by saying, be careful what you put in your brain. Make sure say you put good weed in your brain. You know what I mean? In this time, a man are going to need something because time hard and stressful, and the weed, I guess she has said, provide that, you know what I mean? That relief. See? No. That is an excellent point to make again. Because the reason why our people smoke weed is because of how stressful this oppression is. You know what I mean? It is not a natural thing for our people want to ingest smoke in their brain. It is not natural. But because of the oppression over here, you know what I mean, our people use weed, and not just weed, other drugs, strong drugs, for many different reasons. Stress will come with poverty, being poor, you know what I mean? The stress will come with being abused, depressed. You understand? Every stress and every curse that our people suffer from, push us into the direction of smoking weed or doing drugs. See? Which means what? Means smoking weed is a reaction to a particular thing, which means smoking weed is not natural. It's a remedy. Anybody who has smoke weed and look for a remedy. See? But the problem is the weed is not a remedy. You understand? Jah9 said, the weed is good for your brain. This is Jah9, this is a Rastafarian entertainer. I want to pay attention because Jah9 is not an expert, she's not a medical expert, she's not a neurologist, she's not a brain surgeon, she's not a doctor. Her name is not Dr. Jah9. She's just a Rastafarian. See? But she will come on the media to an interview telling you that weed is good for your brain and how it affects some, you know what I mean, some thing in your brain positively. Well, let's hear what the experts have to say about that. See, in the meanwhile, just tap up the screen, like, share, subscribe. You understand? We're going to tell you what the experts have to say. So this is a doctor. See? This is a brain specialist. I'm going to tell you what weed does to your brain. So I know you have been smoking weed for almost years now. Years you have been smoking weed. Then your children smoke weed, come see us smoke weed and smoke weed. You understand? I mean, like 80% of Jamaicans smoke weed. 80%. And that 80% is black people mostly, not the other nations who live here. You know, the out of many one people, not them, but the children of Israel here in Jamaica. About 80% of us smoke weed, and then the children after them come and see them smoking weed, thinking weed is good. See, we're going to show you the origin of all of that. That's why we put up Jah9 tonight. You understand? But we're going to tell you, we're going to show you what the experts have to say, what weed really does. So, who you're going to listen to? You're going to listen to Jah9 or you're going to listen to a doctor? Remember, tap up the screen, share, like, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching.
Son joins us now. Hey, Alex, thanks for coming on. Why do you disagree?
Well, look, cannabis in its smoke form, you know, we don't smoke medicine in general.
Now,
heroin. How do you? And that's just ridiculous. It's not a drug. It's a medicine. It's just not labeled as a medicine because we never use it.
but not everyone agrees with that assessment. Author and journalist Alex Brerenson joins us now. Hey, Alex, thanks for coming on. Why do you disagree?
Well, look, cannabis in its smoke form, you know, we don't smoke medicine in general.
And this is an argument that I always have been telling people. You don't smoke medicine. Why would you set something on fire and expect to get positive result from it? Then the doctor said you don't smoke medicine. Weed in its smoke form is not medicine. You understand? Let's continue, please.
Tobacco is not a medicine. If you want to schedule cannabis lower to Schedule 3 on the theory that it's not as dangerous as heroin, obviously it's not as dangerous as heroin. Whether or not it should be federally legal is a totally different issue. A lot of states have experimented now with legalizing cannabis. We have about 15 years of data. It's not working very, very well. There's still a huge illegal market for cannabis in those legalized states. There's still a lot of violence around cannabis growth and sales in those states because a lot of people who use a lot of pot would rather just buy the cheapest available, and that's usually on the illicit market. We also, and I wrote a piece about this on Fox Digital and on my Substack today, have increasing evidence that cannabis really is dangerous. Cannabis and THC, they're linked to heart attacks, they're linked to strokes, they're linked to all kinds of severe mental illness. When I
want to listen, you know. Want to listen. Cannabis and the chemical that you get from cannabis is weed. The chemical is called THC. Him say it is linked to heart disease, stroke, zine, and also mental problem, which we are going to touch upon Jah9 when we're done. Zine, let me continue playing this.
This book, Tell Your Children, 6 years ago, there was a lot of pushback on the idea that cannabis could cause psychosis and in some cases a permanent psychotic disorder called schizophrenia, which is a terrible illness. And I would say that most scientists now agree that cannabis markedly raises the risk for schizophrenia especially in people who are using it as teenagers. I
I'm
understand.
gonna pull it up back again. So the hear exactly what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if you know that here a while. See? I'm gonna pull it up. And them thing an argument you have to add, you know, not because we are Jamaican and we're so in depth into the culture of Jamaica. See? Means so if we ignore clear and obvious proof of something is wrong. See? Let's play this again.
A lot of states have experimented now with legalizing cannabis. We have about 15 years of data. It's not working very well. There's still a huge illegal market for cannabis in those legalized states. There's still a lot of violence around cannabis growth and sales in those states because a lot of people who use a lot of pot would rather just buy the cheapest available, and that's usually on the illicit market. We also, and I wrote a piece about this on Fox Digital and on my Substack today, have increasing evidence that cannabis really is dangerous. Cannabis and THC, they're linked to heart attacks, they're linked to strokes, they're linked to all kinds of severe mental illness.
Smoking weed is linked to heart attack and stroke. You understand? Let me repeat that. Smoking weed, the weed that you have in your hand right now, I watch this class, is linked to heart attack and stroke. And not only that, it is linked to something that you are already showing signs of already, but nobody is telling you. Zane, I see it every day. I see it in Jah9 and other entertainers. I'm going to pull up some more of them. Zane, it's already showing signs in you already. Zane, let's see.
When I wrote this book, Tell Your Children, 6 years ago, there was a lot of pushback on the idea that cannabis could cause psychosis and in some cases a permanent psychotic disorder called schizophrenia, which is a terrible
psychosis and schizophrenia. That means that the madness where you see in our people today is not because, you know what I mean, somebody over there. You understand? Like we love to say, like as if it's so unheard of that somebody can go to their mind, especially we living in a society that everybody smokes weed. Why do you think we have so much mad people on the road? Psychosis is madness. And some of you already start show signs, small signs of psychosis. You just don't reach there as yet. You're almost there. See? You're almost there. Give yourself a couple more years. Wait till next year. Next year, that psychosis is going to kick in the right way. Everybody see that you have been acting a little bit differently. But nobody is telling you. Nobody is telling you that you are behaving schizophrenic. Nobody not tell you. As a matter of fact, all of your friends them who you smoke with show the same sign. But nobody are paying attention because the whole of love smoke weed. Well, guess what? Give somebody in another group a couple more years. And full-blown psychosis, he must start garbage pan. You know what you're going to say? Somebody over there. That you're going to get. You get up and say, oh, somebody over your dog, over your charge. Nobody not over your charge. You charge you smoke weed. You smoke weed, and all I want to run the risk of psychosis and schizophrenia and heart disease and stroke. And that is something that the Rastafari community, I don't think them educated enough to even know, or even want to know, yet alone want to tell you no, say, yo, this thing is what we have been doing for so much years that we call our religious sacrament is bad for you. You understand? You can clearly see it in a fear face. When I watch the interview with Jah9, Jah9 is clearly out of her mind. She sounds good. You know what I mean? It not affect her speech like it affects some people's speech. Because it affects some people's speech. See? When all of this start kicking, it affects your brain differently. Different people, it affects differently. It not trouble our mouth. Our mouth good. But you can clearly look in our face and know what takes place in our mind. Jah9 is bug out crazy in our mind. You understand? Jah9 is not in our right mind. You understand? And if Jah9 probably wasn't an entertainer who can maintain the lifestyle that she can maintain because she have money, probably Jah9 would have been somebody crazy on the streets now. And not only just Jah9. You see a lot in your Rastafari leaders. See? You see it a lot in them. You see it and you ignore it. You say, and the Rasta man that man. And him a talk, and him a rant, and him a talk, and him skip from topic to topic, and him all over the place with what him a say, and him start make sense, then him start make sense. Then you see say, boy, him just gone out of mind. Him crazy. Him crazy. A Rastafari leader suffer from psychosis and schizophrenia. You know what I mean? That brother will up a bubble hill will lick the chalice and him, you know what I mean? Him sound the trumpet and him beat the drum. It's crazy. It just don't full blown yet. And these are the people who I tell you, say, you have to continue to smoke weed. And weed is good for you, like what Jah9 said. Weed is good for you because it affects the rare. But here is a doctor who study your brain. Study your brain. I tell you, say, it causes stroke. It causes heart disease, heart failure. I remember the first time I smoke weed. When I in a 10th grade. The first thing I feel is my heart start beat fast. That's the first thing I feel. And then reality just start look different right before my eyes. Zane, let me tell you another thing. I remember when I was little. Zane, I guess the most I put me on a journey for despise weed, for a purpose, for save uno. Zane? Because when me did little, I about grade 5 or 6, I remember go over my neighbor yard and then I have a stem of weed. I remember me a little youth. See? Brain not develop or nothing like that. See? And them have a stem of weed on the dresser and sit down on them assack and watch TV. And the dresser was about my head height as me I sit down on the assack. And as me turn around, I take a deep inhale at the branch. And I remember like, yo, I just feel strange. I get up same time, go over the yard. I wonder if I'm mad, me I'm mad. See, of course, after a couple of days, the next day, it wear off. See, but me as a child at the time, that was scary as hell. And believe me when I tell you, I never feel like myself, and I was not in control of myself. You understand? I grew up seeing picture of my father as smoke weed. And you know what that tell me subconsciously? One day I'm going to smoke weed too. That is a curse. And many of us grow and see, you know what I mean? Because me never grew with my father. My father there in prison, you know. See? Over Uncle Sam. But a picture me did see him when he little. But many of us grew up with parents and smoke weed right in front of our face. That is a curse. You understand? That is a curse. That is what you call generational curse. Generational curse not just means that the whole family just broke, you know, from the grandfather and to the father, to the son, you know. And that alone a generational curse, you know. Generational curse is you, your father smoke, your grandfather smoke, everybody smoke weed, everybody eye out of their mind. Nobody is in them right mind. You understand? Weed smoking in Jamaica is a generational curse. And I blame the Rastafari community. The Rastafari community has become renowned worldwide for the promotion of smoking. And especially when it comes to God's people over here in captivity. The Rastafari community, this little insignificant religion that do not have a strong foundation, have become strong because it promotes the use of marijuana. You understand? And because of this, our people are destroyed. Our children are destroyed. from high school. Even me start smoking at high school, and rest assured, enough of our people them start smoke before high school. Before high school. And then our people that pretend and turn a blind eye as if smoking weed is not a bad thing. Smoking weed is the killing of our people. You're destroying the brain. And you put it up and tell you what him said. Show you what him said. And read an article on it already and play another video on it already. Either play a video on it already or read an article on it. Where it said, when you start smoke weed at a young age, you run the risk of psychosis because your brain do not get the chance to develop. Your brain don't get the chance to develop because you kill the brain cell them before them grow. And then you have to listen to Jah9 and the Rastafari community and tell us about weed good for you. No man, we have to do better. We have to do better than this. Because any sensible person know, even somebody who has smoke, knows that weed not good for them. When we are going to say, yo, all right, watch out. Look here, man. I know I like doing this, but I'm not going to pretend say it's a good thing. I'm not going to promote it. As a matter of fact, our people have become hypocrite because of this too. Because you smoke the weed, but you wouldn't want your child grow up and smoke. You wouldn't want here say your youth when a 10th grade a smoke weed. Why is that? Because you know weed is not a good thing. All right. Then accept it. Accept that weed is not good and do not promote the smoking of weed. You understand? And set a good example for your youth then by stop smoking weed. You understand? We're going to play this. I'm going to tell you, say, especially in young children. We're going to play this.
They're linked to all kinds of severe mental illness. When I wrote this book, Tell Your Children, 6 years ago, there was a lot of pushback on the idea that cannabis could cause psychosis and in some cases a permanent psychotic disorder called schizophrenia, which is a terrible illness. And I would say that most scientists now agree that cannabis markedly raises the risk for schizophrenia, especially in people who are using it as teenagers.
Especially in people who use it as teenager. Because you know why? When you're a teenager, your brain are developed. Them call it adolescence. Your brain are developed, it is not quite developed as yet. Then you start smoking at a young age, as a teenager, your brain do not get the chance to develop. You understand? Your brain don't get the chance to develop. And again, I'm going to tell you, I blame. And this is why, all right, Bridget, we don't want nobody to come and tell we say we are take set on the Rastafari community. We don't want to hear that no more. See? We don't want to hear say we are bully the Rastafari community. We never hear nobody say we are bully the Christian church and the Muslim mass. And politicians. Me no want to hear it from you because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the Rastafari community, with children wouldn't be smoking weed now. What benefit of the Rastafari community done for black people and Hispanics? The Rastafari community come up on the scene saying that they're going to liberate black people from oppression and mental slavery. And at the same time, I give you a mental problem, a mental, you know what I mean, illness through the promotion of smoking weed. What benefit of the Rastafari community done more than destroying our children? Jah9 is a perfect example. And not just Jah9. Let me show you another entertainer. And this is not just the smoking of weed, but this entertainer in particular and other drugs. See? Now, let me segue into another subject area. You see, if you don't love the entertainers, you must hate the use of drugs, including weed. Because drugs have been the #1 killers of your entertainers. From Whitney Houston to Michael Jackson. See? and even make some crazy out of the mind, like Lee Scratch Perry. You know what I mean? And this society is so hypocritical. When Lee Scratch Perry was crazy and bugged out of mind, clear. When you watch interviews with Lee Scratch Perry, you clearly see that this is a madman. But the media promote it because I'm accolades, them promote him as if this is a pioneer and he is a genius, when he is a madman. He was a genius, yes, but now he need mental health. He need medication. And then him die. And nobody addressed the problem when they face. See, we're going to jump to this entertainer who is on a spiral down, Reggie. When we say spiral, he's on a serious spiral. And we're going to touch on one. We do an interview today. You see? I mean, I don't want nobody come tell me, say me I fight him, you know. Because as a matter of fact, I one of my most favorite artists them. But you know, we in the ISUPK, we are the home of the truth. It no matter. As a matter of fact, if you don't love this artist so much, you know that burn out the use of all type of drug. This should be no longer acceptable in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, where the children of Israel are. Our society must make it a taboo, like how we make LGBT a taboo and make child molestation a taboo. See? Because this is also destroying our people. I'll play an interview with Buju, and enough time we see interview with Buju, and you can, come on, somebody say it in the chat, man. Buju in his right mind? Buju in his right mind? I'm going to put it in the chat. Tell me if I foolish this attack. Is Buju Banton in his right mind? We're going to play it. We're going to play it. And you might not hear them words, you know, Bridget. But you can see it on his face and his behavior. See? Because them so eloquent when them speak, you know, just like Jah9, you know. So eloquent. But when you look in our eyes, Bridget, you see crazy in our eyes. See, I'm going to play this.
Has the needle moved?
What you said, could you?
I mean, I just tell you a while ago. I don't think so. You understand?
To the point where Winford we don't even know what I talk about.
Every day I'm a choice farm, I eat, I sleep.
I don't even know where I
sleep. You again.
Hold on, we're not gonna reach that. Winford William don't even know where I say, but through him name Buju Banton. Him sit down there and I pretend like say, yeah, him attack sense. When it clear that him is on drug and him doing him right, man. You know what the NUEVO star might say in the near future? Buju Banton die from an overdose. You understand? Buju Banton either hospitalized because of an overdose or him die from an overdose. See? Because you can clearly see him have a drug problem. And in film drug problem might be cocaine. Film drug problem might be cocaine. We know him smoke weed too. But rest assured, weed is much more dangerous in this. I mean, I say coke good. And that I say. See? Because nobody look at weed as if it's a problem. Meanwhile, entertainers like this is going crazy out of their mind. Another entertainer, Chronix. See? Chronix was a very intelligent youth, you know? Very intelligent. Zayn Chronix, oh God, man, when Chronix just bust, you want to hear Chronix talk. You see, after Chronix get the popularity and all the hit songs and all them things there, when Chronix do an interview, nothing where Chronix say makes sense. Nothing. And that is part of the reason why you see some of these entertainers even go down, man. I tell you the truth. Them go down, man, because them realize that them behavior have changed. And them knows the people are going to look on them and judge them because them are going to see something wrong with them. Another example, we're going to put him on the screen. See him? We're going to put him up on the screen. 1 second. I'll put him up on the screen. Give me a second. Alkaline. And again, I don't want you to come tell me about, you know what I mean? Oh, me I fight the youth and rare. You don't rate Alkaline like me. Again, I don't know nothing about Alkaline. But Alkaline is a very talented artist. Very talented artist. See? Very, very talented artist. But what happened to Alkaline? Everybody ignore the facts that Alkaline don't look like him in his right mind on the interview today. Him don't in his right mind. Everybody ignore that and them jump to the part, the controversial part where him shade Vybz Kartel because they want to ignore the fact say something wrong. This is not Alkaline. This is not the youth where it was so vibrant in interviews and so forth. What happened to Alkaline? Let me tell you what happened to Alkaline. Drugs. You understand? Drugs. So this is the solution of the mystery. You know what I mean? Of what go on. I'm so boring in the interview. This and that and rare. One to answer is drug use. Drugs did this to Alkaline. You understand? Whether it be weed or stronger drug. With these entertainers, the richer them get, the more access them get to more stronger drugs. You understand? And it is not nothing new in our entertainment culture. Gregory Isaac, Dennis Brown, Bob Marley, all of these were drug users. See? And you might say, well, you have other entertainers who do drugs and he never do him so. It doesn't work the same way upon everybody. Maybe the entertainers suffer in silence. Maybe film, you know what I mean? Film sufferation, you can't see it like how you see it upon Alkaline. You understand? This is the reason why Alkaline don't do interviews. Because of the use of drugs, him realize his behavior change. So him hide. And signs of this, let me tell you something. I know wait, all right, do an interview with BET with him. And enough people just pick up on that. Me pick up on this from 2017. Right when the Jamil breakup thing that was, when them do an interview, him Movado and Jamil must do the interview. And the way him conduct the interview, as if, you know what I mean? Him not sure what he said. You understand? And me can bet you at that point, him never, if he might use strong drugs, he never either use it them time there. We can almost guarantee that. Say never either use the strong drugs them time there. So what caused this? A simple thing as weed smoking can cause this. You smoke weed long enough, it mess up your brain. You smoke weed long enough, it will mess up your brain. And nobody can tell me nothing because me used to smoke weed. Because you have some man right now say, yo, me been smoking for so long, man, and you can't tell me nothing about weed. Because when we hold them argument with people, them feel like me never smoke yet. Or them think at church. Listen, man. You see, if we don't stop this smoking of weed, bear in mind, this pass on to your children too, you know. This pass down to your children. You have a thing named crack babies, and you have a thing named weed babies. You heard? This pass down, the deficiencies pass down to your children. So you see, if we don't put on this culture of smoking weed, you know what I mean, the future don't look too bright for our people. You understand? All right, we'll read some scriptures, and then we'll jump on another topic. See, in the meanwhile, everybody just tap up the screen, share, like, subscribe. Let me do a little check over yourself to make sure everything I go on. See? 1 second. All right. Let's jump to a scripture. Let's jump to I'll jump to the book of Exodus 22 and verse 11. See? See? And we pull the Bible every time. Why? Like I explained before. This Bible belongs to us. This is our records. See? And everything written in this book, you know what I mean, is for our correction and our learning. You understand? Like what the Bible itself said. All scripture was given by the inspiration of the Most High for learning. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. You understand? This is the solution to the problems that we face over here. You understand? Exodus 22 and 18, you can draw it in our own Bible. This said, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Who is a witch? I know your pastor tells you a witch is a Obia man or a Obia woman. A witch. But you know what I mean? More put it on the sense of a witch doctor. What does a witch doctor do? A witch doctor build potions. The word witch comes from witch doctors. They mix potions. Potions to their drugs. They mix things to alter your mood. These things was happening back in the past. You understand? Back in you know what I mean, when we were young as a nation. See? Where people mix potion for want to give you a spiritual experience, which is just you taking some chemical way mix up. You know what I mean? It looks spiritual to you, but it's just some things when mix up to make you get high, to make you hallucinate. What is that today? Your drugs. Weed is an example. You don't mix up the weed, yes. Some people put it in a brownies and mix it to get high, right? But the smoking of weed have the same effect. You understand? Weed is witchcraft. You understand? No, over in 80 them like to say, all right. Them defeat the French because them use Obia and rare. Them defeat the French by mixing up potions, poisoning them. It's poisoning, you know. See? Make them hallucinate, make them see things. Because Obia in itself is not real. It's just a myth that everybody fall victim to and believe because of the misinterpretation of the Christian church, where the Bible is concerned. Obia is not real. There's no such thing as Obia. But you have witchcraft, which is just people who mix potions and mix up things and poison people. You know what I mean? That is what it is. And now you have your drug dealers selling crack cocaine on the corner, selling heroin, selling this, selling that. That is witchcraft. Witchcraft is the mixing of things to make you hallucinate, alter your brain, alter your mindset. You smoke the weed so that it alter your mindset, so you don't have to focus on the problems that you have to face daily. You understand? You have so much problems on a daily. You have bills to pay, where you can't afford to pay. See? You have your woman has stress you out. You know what I mean? Child support, family court. You know what I mean? You live in a community where there's be crime and violence. You're traumatized from your youth. You live in a toxic society. You know what I mean? You've been molested, you've been abused, you've been abused. So what you do? You smoke weed for alter your mindset. So you don't have to think about the things that will affect you. But the things that will affect you is still there. And the weed is just making your brain less capable of dealing with your problems. You understand? Drugs affect your brain. Drugs can make a wise individual come down to somebody who seems non-intelligent. And that is the situation with Alkaline. Bad artist. You know what I mean? But him rich, so nobody now go tell him, say, yo, Alkaline, are the drugs where you take, do your so. Are the weed where you smoke, do your so. It have different effect on other people, them are suffer too, but your own obvious. Nobody now go tell him because the man himself. Because we worship entertainers as if them are God, and them are not God. I'm tired to tell you. Enough of these entertainers suffer from Uno too. Because, all right, Kodak Black, right? And bear in mind, everywhere you see the children of Israel, we suffer from the same problem. We suffer from the same problem. Look on Kodak Black today. Everybody know the situation with Kodak Black. Kodak Black is bugged out of mind right now because of drug use. Bugged out of mind. And the problem is when you don't have people around you strong enough to tell you, say, yo, look here, man, you have a problem. Alkaline, him and the man himself, nobody now go tell him, say, yo, you have a problem. Him could not even want to hear it. Him could not even want to hear it. Him going to tell you, say, no, man, I'm a good man. But him have a problem. And that problem, it a show. You understand? And that is the reason why he went dormant. That is the reason why we don't see him for so much, you know what I mean, years. Because he knows that the state where he's brain in right now, he's going to make us fool of himself. And he brave him, brave up, and come on. Brave him, brave up, come out and say, you know what, I don't give a fuck. I do it. I'm probably in a healing process right now when I'm more confident. Who knows? You know what I mean? Him do a song already named Relapse. You know, I'm not found to pay attention to all that thing there. Him do a song named Relapse. What is relapse? Relapse is when you think that you do drugs, you stop, and then you go back. Because you can't hold out. That's why I'm saying, and you know what I mean, General Myman said, see, before me, see, you see, if you really love an entertainer, you would hate drugs, because drugs destroy the entertainers. The entertainers want love, drugs destroy them. And the same drugs destroy you, the small man, the regular Israelite who believe the lie that the Rastafari community said that, yes, man, weed is good, it is the healing of the nation and so forth. When the Most High tell you, say, you should not suffer a witch to live. In the Most High kingdom, nobody could, there would be no weed dealers. There would be no crack dealers. There would be no heroin dealers, no Mali dealers. Because that would be a death penalty offense. You understand? And that is why these laws of the Most High give us is so important. Because we turn away from the Most High, we reject him laws, and then we have so many demons to fight right now. You know what I mean? You sometimes don't know where to start. Our people is in a serious situation, predicament. We're jammed up as a people. You understand? I don't know if we're not hearing up on TikTok, you know, because, you know what I mean? The internet look like it freeze up. I don't know what I go. Anyway. See? Hopefully you're not hearing. But we are jammed up as a people because of drugs, you know what I mean? Because of sexual immoralities, you know what I mean? Which we have a touch upon now, see? And other things because of the religions that we're gone off into. See? We're gone off into some religions that lead us down a path that is against God. See? Rastafarianism is one, Christianity is the main one. See? But we need to come back to a heritage. You know what I mean? We'll come back to a heritage, to culture, keeping God's laws again, seeing how important it is for the healing of us. This is the healing of the nation of the Rastafari community. You know what I mean? Think them know about, you know. Because them say, weed is the healing of the nation. See? They might refer to a scripture in Revelation with the tree of bear 12 different fruits. So them said, you know what I mean, at the weed, as if the weed tree grew 12 different fruits. This was a metaphor. You know what I mean? It said it bear 12 different fruits, and it was, you know what I mean, the healing of the nations. This is talking about the tree of life. The tree of life was given to, you know what I mean? Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. I'll get that thing there. Hold on. Give me 1 second. See? When I hear me on Facebook, internet will move away. Anyway, see? This is the tree of life. You understand? So, 1 second. Give me a second. Phone must have freeze up. Give me a second. Phone a freeze up. Give me a second. I'll get back on track in a minute. I'll just fix this over here. So. 1 second. This just it detect inactivity, but it's really the phone that freeze up, you know. As you can see, the phone itself a freeze up. I mean, it can also be due to the internet as well. Hopefully not in the life. I mean, in the meanwhile, everybody just like, share, you know the thing already. Phone, whenever things like this happen, this phone freeze up. I mean, I've got a new phone. Yeah, that I forgot go on. Yeah, phone, yeah, seems like they have an expired date on them. But the problem with them phone, you know, drop them here, them not get no damage, you know. But if eventually the internal hardware, it does have a feel as if maybe them designed that way. You know what I mean? We're back online. Yeah, it seems like we're back online. Hopefully we're back online. I don't even know. I don't even know. All right, it seems like we're back online. You know what I mean? Wait to see. All right, so lucky about that. You know what I mean? Sometimes the internet give a little problem. Sometimes the phone chip out a kind of way. But you know what I mean? It seems like everybody is back now. See? All right, so the Rastafari community, them claim that the weed is that healing of the nation. Talk when Revelations talk about the tree that beareth 12 fruit, you see, and it shall be the healing of the nation. This same tree is the tree of life. You understand? Which to Adam was given with laws from the Most High. The Most High gave Adam laws. These laws are the same laws that are in the Bible today. That is the healing of the nations. This is how we heal, you know what I mean, the nation, by coming back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. It's not by smoking weed. The weed doesn't make you smarter. According to the expert, weed make you dumber. It kills your brain cell and it gives you psychosis and schizophrenia. It gives you heart failure and it gives you stroke. You wonder why we have so much stroke and heart disease amongst our people. Weed is a contributing factor. You understand? Smoking weed is a contributing factor. You know what I mean? And again, we need to stop make excuse as if smoking weed is good. That lie was being sold to you by the Rastafari community. And we have all seen the condition of them. They are not in good condition. You understand? Me do a video with you and show you a couple Rastafarians and you can clearly see that one particular one was, you know what I mean? Like if he wasn't surrounded by the others, you would surely mistake him for a madman. You understand? You know what I mean? So we don't stay upon that topic too long. Let's continue reading. We're going to jump to another scripture. See? We're going to jump to Proverbs 16 and verse 27. See? And it said, an ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. You know what I mean? So this in his lips is a burning fire. Is talking about that spliff, that blunt in your mouth, that cigarette. You know what I mean? It is telling you that that's an ungodly man. The smoking of weed is not a new thing, you know. I'm like to tell you and I'm brag about it, and I say, yo, weed have been smoked, you know what I mean, through generations. You know what I mean? And that is true. Most I told us from a long time ago that we should not smoke weed. This is one of the things that he told us not to do because the heathens were doing it. The heathens were partaking in drugs and witchcraft and all them things there. But the Most High, because we are his holy people, the Most High forbid us from partaking in the use of drugs and all them things there. Because we be a clean people, we are a holy people unto the Most High. The Most High never make us without nothing that, you know what I mean, we need. It never make us lacking of anything. You understand? It's us trying to be like the other nations that cause us to do things against the Most High. Take for example, even the same Rastafari community and them doctrine and them teaching. It was the East Indians who came here as indentured servants who brought the cannabis plant, the cannabis sativa plant to Jamaica. Jamaica did not know about weed before the East Indians came in the 1800s. In the 1700s, there was no weed in Jamaica. We were here in the 1700s serving slavery under the oppressor. There was no weed. There was no weed brought from Africa like what they talk about. Weed is not native to Africa. Weed is native to India. And after we got so-called emancipated from slavery, them imported indentured servants. See, East Indians and Chinese to do the work that now the free slaves were not doing. And they brought their culture with them. We didn't bring culture with us. We came here as slaves. So weed is not our culture. Weed couldn't be our culture because we didn't bring no culture over here. It was the East Indians who brought their culture of smoking weed, which them call, what them call it again? Ganja. Ganja is a Hindu word. See? And the wearing of dreads or Shiva Jatas. That was East Indian, and Leonard Howell was the founder of the Rastafari community. Because he lived in Clarendon, he met a lot of these East Indians who were working on the sugar plantation in Clarendon. Because you have a strong population of East India. Anybody who know Clarendon know this. Them even have them festival with them keep. Still now in Clarendon. Leonard Howell learned from these East Indians about the smoking of ganja and the wearing of Shiva Jatas or dreads. Those are not even locks. Because the term locks comes from the Bible and that is not what it's talking about. Those are Shiva Jatas worn by the East Indians. Just go look it up. And the Rastafari community adopted it and created a religion. That is what happened. And now you are suffering from some customs brought here to Jamaica by the heathens because of weak leaders who decided that they wanted to create a religion And now them turn Jamaican into drug addicts. And we suffer for it now. You see it. We are suffering from it. We are suffering from the bad decisions made from the inception of the Rastafari community. We have become drug or weed crackheads here in Jamaica. That is what we have become, weed crackheads, because of the Rastafari community. We would have been so much productive, so much more productive as a people if we weren't hooked on weed. You would be so much more productive if you weren't smoking weed. Your child would have passed the CXC if he never did a smoke weed. Your child would end up on the corner and rub out him and miggle and a turn quote unquote cruff if he never smoke weed. Who is to be blamed? The Rastafari community. Every time you see a child smoking weed on the corner, every time you see a child with a spliff tail behind his ears, is the Rastafari community. And you know the good thing about when I say nobody can say a lie, me I tell. Somebody said, Olga said, I think it's Olga. Yeah, Olga said, true, I have a nephew, it's mad. You see, and Olga, when you say them thing, you know, people are going to tell you, say, no man, I know weed. Somebody put something in them weed. Or somebody over behind. When you tell them that, you know, they must say, no man, somebody put something in them weed, man. You know, so you can't buy weed from everybody, you know, or you can't smoke certain weed like what Jah9 did I say. Jah9 did I say, you can't put no bush weed in your brain. You know why she has said that? You know why she has said that? Because she realized that her mental condition is deteriorating. And you know what she blame it upon? She not blame it upon just weed itself because she want to continue smoking weed. So she said she blame it upon bush weed. Instead of blaming it on smoking weed, she want to blame it upon bush weed. Well, let me tell you something as a smoker. See, as a one-time smoker, because I don't smoke no more. 10 years now, probably 9, 10 years now, I don't smoke. See, bush weed have a less effect on you than the high grade where she would have want you to smoke. When you smoke the bush weed, it have a lesser effect on you than the high grade weed. True or false? I don't need you to tell me, I know that. So which one are give the psychosis? The bushweed are the real good one we grew up on the good farm. The good one, it mess up your brain. But now I say the bushweed now mess up your brain too, you know. But the good weed where you love, see, it do a much more damage to your brain than the book. I mean, the high grade weed where you love, it have a much more effect on your brain than the bushweed. The good thing about when I say nobody can't tell me, say a lie, me I tell. So you know what me, as I said before, drug use, it destroys our people. And Alkaline, Jah9, Buju Banton, Lee Scratch Perry, all our entertainer them, not all, you know, but some of our entertainer them, you can see the effect on them. That interview that Alkaline gave today is as a result of him using drugs, whether it be weed or other drugs. That is not the Alkaline where all I want to know. And that's why I tell you, say, if you don't love you entertainers, you would hate drug use. Look upon Skeng. Skeng come out, young, fresh youth. See? Look upon Skeng today. Skeng look like a ghost. And he have money, he rich. look like a ghost. All of the Mali where him take, all of the weed where him smoke, it gradually take it toll. If you don't love, you don't entertainers, you know that hate drug use, whether it be weed or stronger drug. You understand? Earpin 43 said Jehovah God is the greatest. Nobody never said that the Most High wasn't the greatest. Nobody never said that, you know. Nobody was disputing that the Most High is the greatest. The word Jehovah is English for Yahweh, by the way. The Most High real name is Yahweh in the ancient Hebrew. You know what I mean? We don't know what information you got. We love God over here, so serve the Most High over here. So what you need to probably check is a Christian church. Because them don't love God over there. So, and them don't read the Bible, them don't love the Bible. See? No, me no go through. All right. You know that you think of it. Maybe I did. I don't. Yeah, probably. Somebody asks, you went through psychosis? Not all right. Psychosis would mean like you go through a mental problem or See? Mood said no. But while I was smoking weed back in the past, we just noticed say yo, my brain now function as swift as it used to. See, just like alkaline. Just like alkaline. In brain now function the way it used to. See? When me that smoke weed back in the past, man, me clearly see it like me and my brother, we make plans, say, yo, you know, say one day we have to stop smoke my youth. And you must say, true, man, yo, isn't it? And then we stop. And then we start back. You know what I mean? But what the most I do for me, the most I make me ear command in general, YAHANNA. Say, because back in about 2000 and about 13, 14, see? I came upon the truth, I found the truth, like I find command in general, YAHANNA. And at the first me I hear this in my life, say smoking weed is a sin. I mean I say me never hear that yet. Me never hear that yet, say smoking weed is a sin and scriptures to prove it. Weed in the Bible, yeah. I'm gonna pull that scripture, you know. See? Which we pull one already, Proverbs 16 and 27. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. That is the smoking of weed. In your lips, that burning fire. See? Let me jump to another one. I jump to the book of Ezekiel, you know what I mean? 8 and 17. Because this has been a problem that the Most High had with us because we were following the heathens. He had this problem with us for years, thousands, hundreds of years. Thousands now. See? Because we follow the heathens, just like the Rastafarians follow the East Indians and start smoke weed. See? Ezekiel 8 and 17. Then he said unto me, as thou seen this, O son of man, is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abomination which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. That is the weed branch. So the Most High said, this is an abomination. Judah have been provoking him to anger. And look, them put the branch to them nose. That is the weed branch. That is what you do when you go downtown and you take up a branch of weed, you put it to your nose. Who shall that branch people put to their nose? There's no other branch you put to your nose. Who shall that branch ever put to your nose? This has been a problem the Most High had with us for years, but guess what? Your Rastafari community, I gotta tell you, that weed was a good thing for years, and we'd have been smoking for thousands of years. Well, the Most High never want to feel people them smoking. Because that is what the heathens do. That's the heathens practice. The East Indians and them. You understand? Again, if you don't love entertainers, you would hate the use of drugs. The save entertainers, you better hate drugs, or the entertainers will overdose and drugs and die. As they are already doing it. As Mr. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson. Drug have always been the problem of our entertainer. Gregory Isaac, Dennis Brown. No, Alkaline look like him have a problem. You know what I mean? Another artist when I see but him is a heathen, Shaggy. Shaggy are not our people. See, when Shaggy do an interview, you can clearly see Shaggy the palm drugs. Another artist, Bounty Killer. We bring out earlier again, Buju Banton. And every Rasta artist. Because I now make a distinction between coke and crack and weed. Are the same thing. Same mental problem it I go give you. So every Rasta artist is a drug addict. But because weed have become so normal in Jamaica, we accept it. And every day we see our people deteriorate right before our eyes because they smoke weed. And we say nothing until it reach, you know what I mean? It reach a boiling point where you clearly see that this person is out of the mind and there's no coming back. You know what I mean? This person say alcohol is the worst. Alcohol is not the worst. Alcohol not dirty. Alcohol don't affect your brain like how drugs affect your brain. I mean, if you overdo it and you become a drunkard, it's a problem. But the most I never, you know what I mean, say alcohol was a problem. Being a drunkard is a problem. So if you ever say that to justify the smoking of weed, believe me, brother, you're totally off. Because alcohol, do, I mean, everything is a poison if you do it in excess. See? But drugs, as I said, is a sin and it's witchcraft. So now, you know what I mean? Beyond the poisoning, you are sin against God. And the most I never said drinking alcohol was a sin. Okay, Skip, all right. So okay, I think I misunderstood it. Isn't it? Sorry about that, brother. See? So me read this again, Ezekiel 8 and 17. Then he said unto me, as thou seest this, O son of man, is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abomination which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence. And that is where you get to the smoking of weed too. You know what I mean? And this is something that, you know what I mean, nobody wants to talk about. Every gunman smoke weed. Every murderer smoke weed. True or false? Every murderer smoke weed. How you think them get the courage to do what them do? Them have to hide in their mind. And murder is not a normal thing for people, you know. We don't just get up and make murder a profession, you know. Murder is a profession to the white man. He's a murderer. You understand? The white man is a murderer by profession. Our people are a murderer by, you know what I mean? You just end up in a bad situation. And then you have to go smoke weed now for you know what I mean, come to terms with where you become. And then the weed help you commit the second murder and the third and the fourth and all them things. If you never had a smoke before. You understand? Every gunman is a smoke weed. So the scripture tells us, for they have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to anger. You understand? And lo, they put the branch to their nose. That's the weed branch. They put to their nose. Yeah, man, I agree with this man. Crush it up in there and smoke and roll it up. Still have to smell it too. Roll it up in your lip and you light it. And that is the flame of fire in your lips. Weed is a sin. Somebody say, when me smoke, me afraid to kill. Let me ask you this. When you don't smoke, you have the courage to kill? Is that what you're saying? Say, you kill people, but when you smoke, you don't have the courage to kill, so you have to put on the weed to kill people. Like that you said, Denzel Whitley. We'll move on. All right, so we're going to jump to another story. See? So now, as I say, sexual immorality is another demon that our people suffer from, right? So yesterday, a mother came out and she speak out against an entity named Stalk Ashley. You understand? How Stalk Ashley, you know what I mean, and her producer took advantage of her 19-year-old daughter. See? And the mother, she aggrieved because apparently them force her in her urges, you know what I mean? And them force her to take drugs are influencer. Because, all right, and it's also force, you know. And to people who like to say, well, she's of age, she's 19-year-old, right? As if adults can get molested. Did you know that adults can get molested and taken advantage of? Did you know that predators don't just predatorize kids, they predatorize adults? One example, P-Diddy. P-Diddy was a predator and he predatorized on adults. You know what I mean? I don't know if he predatorized on kids. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. See? But P-Diddy's victims were adults. And he took advantage of them. And a way that they do it, you know what I mean? And it's usually people of prominence, you know, man. You know what I mean? Whether it be in the entertainment industry or the occupational industry, see? It's always somebody of prominence who can offer you something in return for them taking advantage of you. Adults get preyed upon too. And predators are not just male. Predators are women. I mean, look, let me tell you something. There is equal amount of predator who is men and women. There is not a predominant male predator and then there's this minimum amount of women predator. The problem is nobody speaks out when a woman predator do anything. Women are predators too. You understand? So we're going to play this tape. You know what I mean? This mother, she aggrieved. She has said, you know what I mean? Them force her daughter into some lifestyle or encourage, which is still force. See? Because you do it to a mind that, you know what I mean, you are manipulated. See? And now our daughter is out of our mind because of the same drugs that them get to our daughter. See? Remember, tap up the screen, like, share, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching. So, you know what I mean? I see same thing with P-Diddy do. You understand? So predators are everywhere in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. You know what I mean? And the reason for this is we have become like the oppressor. This behavior is the oppressor's behavior. You know what I mean? Stark Ashley is a woman praying on another young girl. You understand? And again, men are not the only predators. Women are predators. Ashley, she was basically preying on the young girl and using her for partaking orgies with her boyfriend, similar to where, you know, with the girl named P-Diddy woman do. So predators, we have a problem when it comes to, you know what I mean, sexual immorality. We have a problem. And just like the use of drugs and the promotion of it, we should not allow this to flourish in our community amongst the children of Israel. We are God's chosen people and we're not supposed to partake because, as I said, these are behaviors of the oppressor. You know what I mean? Look at P-Diddy situation. Nothing more than P-Diddy, you know what I mean, ghetto youth from the hood, from the projects, Zane in America, California, I think, Zane or New York, I don't remember which one come from. Him become rich and more likely him see where rich oppressors do. Zane, or him had to do some things to reach up to that level and him see how rich oppressors behave and him become that monster. Zane, and the same thing with Stark Ashley. If she wasn't molested as a child too, because enough of the time it starts with abuse from them little, Zane, which the oppressor himself him seek out these because when he can get somebody broken, he knows that this broken person, he can use them to break other people. See? And then corrupt our nation to our, you know what I mean, a nation of broken people. But who knows? Stark Ashley, singer, more likely grew up in the Christian church. You know what I mean? If you're a sister who grew up in the Christian church, 90% of the time you got molested. You know what I mean? I know sisters who are watching right now can attest to that. If you grew up as a woman in the Christian church, more likely you got molested. See? So, who knows? So, she in the music industry that is full of predators, you know what I mean, probably had to use herself sexually or present herself sexually for reach what she did. See? Hold on, let me change this. See? End up become the monster them we take advantage of she too. Now she do the same thing to anybody who have come up line. So now what you have is a group of entertainers in order for them reach a particular point, they would have to go through the same system of being, you know what I mean, sexualized and, you know what I mean, taking drugs and all them things. By the time they reach them destination, they're a monster too. So we have an industry of LGBT predator monsters. And Stark Ashley is a lesbian. See? And this is showing you that the LGBT community is predators. P-Diddy is a fish. Wendo, him prey upon other men. You understand? So it all started with being preyed upon, and then you become a predator. And to sisters who love to harbor LGBT and to promote it and to always sympathize with the LGBT community, just rest assured that you are sympathizing with predators. Because that is the same demon. That is how demons pass down, and demons is always looking for a host. And that LGBT friend where you have is going to prey on your children. You understand? And that your children are going to become like them and the cycle continues, like being a vampire. A vampire don't give birth to another vampire. It go out and create another one. You understand? It bites somebody and turns them into a vampire. That is the LGBT community. That is Stark Ashley, and that is most of the sisters in the music industry. You know what I mean? And if you don't mind, sharp, right now, throughout Jamaica and brothers, especially those in prominent position where them can offer you something and then use it against you. And to those again who feel like, say, boy, adults can be, you know what I mean? Victims or adults can be molested. Well, this is proof that adults can be molested because that girl is an adult. But she was manipulated. She was given a promise that you're going to boss. You're going to become a star. All you have to do is just roll with us. You know what I mean? Do what we do. Partaking of what we partaking. And then break her out and turn her out. That is how it works. You know what I mean? And that is the filthiness that we have to get rid of out of our nation. Being the children of Israel, we can't partake in them things. We behaving like Sodom and Gomorrah. We behaving like filthy Africans and the oppressor. You understand? We're going to jump to a scripture. We're going to jump to the book of Romans. See? 1 second. We're going to jump to the book of Romans, Romans chapter 1 and verse 26. And it said, for this cause, God gave them up unto vile affection. You understand? The Most High gave up our people to vile affection. This is a vile affection. Star Ashley is a woman. She's not supposed to be sexually attracted to a woman. What caused her to become like this? That is a vile affection. You understand? Let's continue. For even their women did change natural use into that which is against nature. So even our women change them natural use. What is the natural use of a woman? To give her body to a man. But what them do? Because of the influence of this oppressor, see, them change them natural use to something that is against nature, which is woman to woman. You understand? It's against nature. To all those who like to talk about nature and all them things there, the Most High did not give a woman the nature to sleep with another woman, nor a man the nature to sleep with another man. That is against nature. For all of the scientific people who want to talk about the Big Bang and want to leave God out of the picture and talk about evolution, well, here's the Bible talking about nature. It is against nature for a woman sleep with another woman. See? Let us scroll down. This is verse 27. And likewise also the men leave the natural use of the women, burn in their lusts one towards another. See? So even the brothers them leave the natural use of the woman and burn in lust one towards another, man to man. You see that all over TikTok. You see that with, me never call a name, but you see that with all of the major one where them a push up. I'm going to show you something. Rest assured that it's an agenda. You know? You might think TikTok is this free platform where anybody can become popular. But notice who you see at the top. At the top, you see the people who are promote a certain lifestyle. See? It is not by accident. You see enough of them gifters there, where you see down in the chat, they are oppressors. They are white people. They are the CIA, that is, you know what I mean, the FBI. Those are the different agencies of the oppressor pretending to be somebody else. Or one of our people who was sent by them, or who work for them, sending all the lions, all the this, all the that to these particular people. Because guess what? TikTok is a powerful platform and they know it's very influential, and these are the people that they want to be at the forefront to influence the mind of God's people. It is not by accident. It is not that our people overly love to see, you know what I mean, LGBT. For the most part, we are against it. See? But guess what? This is what the oppressor push and promote. Push it in your face. Put it in your child's face, because now your child is the one that is always on TikTok. You understand? Now accept no invite. See? Your child is the one who is on TikTok. So when them see all of them, you know what I mean, major so-called, they are not influencers, they are just, you know what I mean, regular people who would have been nobody in the community. of reputable, you know what I mean, reputation. But because them are push a certain agenda, they are promoting. Now your child has see them and your child want to be like them. You know what I mean? And even if your child don't fully understand what they are doing, they might emulate them anyway because they are the ones that are popular. So them emulate them behavior and them until they become like them. You understand? Even if your child don't fully understand, say, yo, what they are promoting is evil, just the mimicking of what they do will lead the child into a particular, you know what I mean, environment and circle, and they will become like them. You understand? So things like this, we can't accept it. None at all, in no shape or form, whether it be the child molestation, whether it be, you know what I mean, the LGBT, or even go as far as a man sleeping with another man's wife, every kind of immorality. We as the children of Israel, we must promote. And another thing, what we want to do for understand, see, because our people like to defend the use of weed and all them things there. Yo, Batman smoke weed too. Lesbian smoke weed too. You understand? So if you are saying the weed make you smarter and it make you, you know what I mean, reach a higher level of meditation, then what kind of meditation it will give the Batman and the Sodomite? Maybe the same meditation it will give you. Maybe the weed help you to become a filthy, you know what I mean, sodomite. You understand? And other drugs that they promote. The weed them say is a gateway drug. It helps you to move on to higher drugs like the Mali, which, you know what I mean, eventually you will turn a sodomite using that Mali or a fish. See? So guess what? In order for we get evil out of our nation, we have to get rid of all of the evil that we do. We can't pick and choose what we accept. You know what I mean? Because you have some man, they not accept, you know what I mean, the LGBT community, but they accept the doctor them and the bus driver them who are asleep with the 14-year-old and 15-year-old and, you know what I mean, the school girl them. You know, accept, you know what I mean, the pedophile, but you accept weed smoking. And it's nigh unto LGBT took out and pass on the blunt, this wet blunt from one man mouth to the next. So now batty man, brother. Who will never share a cup with a man, but who will share a spliff with a man. Now fish, brother. The weed more lead in another direction than that. I tell you the truth. You understand? So, in order for we become the people where the Most High intended for us to be, we have to shun all of them immorality. It have to be, no. It have to be a thing where we stop it right as so. We are protect our children from them things. And we ourselves, we are fight them things from coming into the nation. You know what I mean? And this is why we implore UNO, get inside the school, get inside the ISUPK and a command in general. And this is the only safe haven from all immorality. We are going. We certainly know that the Christian church is not a safe haven. That is where it starts. We know your Rastafari community is not a safe haven. That is where it starts. Here is the safe command in general, Your Honor, the ISUPK. And with that, we're going to jump to the security announcement. Let me check some things, you know what I mean, over here. So. And then we are going to jump to the security announcements. All right, we have one little idiot in the chat. You know what I mean? Always have somebody like that. All right, and this squeaky clean. More likely the person named Squeaky Clean in the last class clean and that's a lot of things. You know what I mean? But imagine this, we there talk about the negative effects of smoking weed and doing drugs and how it destroys our people. And you have some oppressor, because we know this is an oppressor. In the chat, I say, basically I say we are false prophet. So I am a false prophet because I tell what people say we need to stop the drugs. I am a false prophet because I tell what people say we don't be LGBT and child molesters and sexual deviants and predators. I want to think about them things, you know. See? regardless of how you feel, but you can't ignore the message that we promote. The message that we promote is righteousness, and it's emphasized. The Christian church do not emphasize righteousness. We emphasize it, and that should tell you a lot about us. So regardless of if you feel like this from a parade is a, you know, from a is the star of Milfam and or the star of Molech. You know what I mean? The facts that we are taught righteousness must, you know what I mean? And we are emphasize it the way we emphasize it, like nobody else. You should have re-questioned whether or not this is the star of Molech. Maybe I couldn't wrong. So when you look power now and I say, what up running there? Oh, I'm on jewelry. And maybe nothing is wrong with jewelry. Listen to the message. Maybe something wrong with you. What is that? Is that the star of Molech? Listen to the message. Maybe something is wrong with you, and this is not the star of Molech. You understand? Because the message where we are preached, you know what I mean? The message we are preached cut on to the soul. Every allegation we want to bring to us, the message where we put, it eradicates that. So if you don't want to say we do this and with that, I want to just, you see we have some black man and the first thing come to the mind, well, nothing black no good on the black man with beard and jewelry and all them things there, you know. Just listen to the message. The message proves that maybe you are the sinner. And with that, we're going to jump to the security announcements. Everybody tap up the screen, share, like, subscribe, depends on the platform you're watching. One second. All right, these are the ISUPK security announcements. Where the ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command in General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers chapter 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you'd like. So to pay your tithes, you go over to ISUPK.com. And I mean ISUPK.com. The link is in our link tree at the top of this page. Go and support the truth. You know what I mean? It's full time now our people stop feeding the Christian pastors. You know what I mean? To bring out last class how they are demanding your money. Starting basically in the church, and I'm not today that start. It's not a new thing. You are being bullied inside of the Christian church. You understand? And you accept it because you think that is the house of God. And you think that them give exemption from your sin. So you pay them anything to tell you where you want to hear. You understand? Well, now is the time for the truth prosper. Go to the ISUPK.com, pay your tithes, support this truth so it can reach right across the world where the children of Israel are, whether it be North, Central, and South America. Anywhere the children, God's people are, we need to, you know what I mean, get the message out. All right? Upcoming Holy Convocation, we have the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet. So the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet, we keep the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet because these are holy days that the Most High gave to the children of Israel. If you notice, your Christian church do not keep any of the holy days that the Most High gave in the Bible. None of the holy days in the Bible, your Christian church don't promote. You understand? Instead, they promote Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, you know what I mean? All these pagan origin holidays that is the worship of another God. And that should tell you something about the Christian church. You understand? So the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet it's the first day of the 7th month. So the first day of the 7th month on the oppressor's calendar is Sunday the 21st of September. You understand? So, yeah, man, just tune into the ISUPK if you want to celebrate the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet with us. You understand? And give us a call. You know what I mean? You know the thing already. See? So you can find the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet in the book of Leviticus 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. So again, you can go over to ISUPK.com for all the ISUPK itinerary, events, classes, everything. You understand? Keep in tune with the school, all right? If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madim Shabbat, I Madim, Barak, Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shabbat, Thumb. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, Men of Israel, I Madim Shabbat, I Madim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, I Lathon, Basham, Yahweh Shai. Yaramata, class dismissed. All right, again, if you don't want to join the school, give us a call. You know what I mean? Just click the link that will take you to our link tree at the top of the page. You understand? Just go over to the page, ISUPK Jamaica page. You know what I mean? The number is also in the description of all our videos on YouTube and Facebook. Give us a call. You know what I mean? And with that, shalom.